Hi, I'm Martin Capel. I'm the producer for Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation, developed exclusively for PlayStation Vita by Ubisoft Sofia. Assassin's Creed Liberation, it's contemporary with Assassin's Creed 3. We cover the same period of around the American Revolution. Our game actually starts in 1765 and goes up to a period midway through the Revolution. We're a fully canon entry into the Assassin's Creed franchise with new story, new setting, great new assassin character. And actually the story with Assassin's Creed 3 is such that the stories develop in parallel, although as the Revolution takes on a bigger scope and draws in the old world and the new world, Aveline is drawn into this as well, and actually she and Connor meet towards the end of Liberation. Yeah, we actually identified Aveline quite early in the process. This all stemmed back to the idea of being contemporary with Assassin's Creed 3. We wanted to take a different twist on the period. Most stories at this time are based around the colonies and the British. We wanted to do something different. So we started looking around and we found New Orleans. It's a city everybody's aware of. And as we started to investigate it, so we found out it was a French colony. It had very different history, all of its own, with being handed over to the Spanish, and a big history of smuggling up towards the colonies. This continued all the way through the Revolution. Also, it had a very unique kind of diverse culture with very much a French influence. It was funded by the French monarchy. But they also had this system called plaçage, which was quite unique to Louisiana. As the city gained in wealth, so you had wealthy merchants, politicians, and other people moving into the city, but they couldn't encourage enough women to move from France. So what they did was they implemented this form of temporary marriage, whereby somebody could pay a dowry and take as a temporary wife maybe an African slave or a Native American. And this was kind of until somebody more acceptable to them could be found from France. Of course, these relationships generated children. Some of these were put straight into slavery. Some of them, however, were raised and loved and educated by their fathers. And actually a very small number built on this. And even a smaller number were women. And at this time, this was just incredible to us that actually in a period where women were basically almost owned, that some women could actually be of mixed heritage, of in Aveline's case, a French father and an African slave mother, but could still move on and become successful in their own right. These women were very, very inspirational, and they're very motivated, self-confident, empowered, and this is everything we're looking for in an assassin. So we actually feel that Aveline, we didn't invent her. She was in New Orleans, waiting to be discovered. This very particular diverse culture generated special people like Aveline, and there she was. We will take the player and Aveline to Mexico as well, and we have another location that we're not disclosing just yet. Well, I mean, in developing Liberation, as you mentioned, we take the Anvil Next engine from the PlayStation 3. So we can start off by saying that the common area, which is we've taken all the improvements in innovation and brought them onto the Vita. But then what we actually did was we decided we wanted a fresh new game. Not only a new setting, a new story, but we wanted to bring in our new features for the game as well. One of the key ones for Liberation is the persona system. Aveline is born in New Orleans, she's raised in New Orleans, and she understands the social and political structure. Her father is very high on the social scales, being a wealthy merchant. This means actually she can play with the social scales and structure of the city. She can dress as a lady, which is the Aveline that her father knows, her friends and family know. So this is how they expect her to appear. This brings in a new gameplay mechanic in that she can be charming, she can use bribery against targets, and she also has a unique weapon, which is her parasol gun. This fires a blow dart that it's slow to reload, but nobody realizes you've used it. Yeah. So it's the one shot that counts. Aveline can also take the appearance of a slave. This is the character that the city is full of poor people and slaves, and nobody notices them. So provided she acts like a slave and she works like a slave, they'll just let her walk past. And so the moment she strikes is the moment that everything comes to fruition and the mission is completed. And then for actual players who want to, there is Aveline the Assassin. This is the character that players of Assassin's Creed will be very familiar with. And it's the one with which she dominates combat. So this is one of the main features. We've also introduced a new economic system based around her father's trading business, and we've bought Aveline her own new weapons based on the life and area that she experiences growing up in New Orleans. We're using all the features of the Vita, such as the 2 touchscreens, the geolocation, the camera. Our goal in developing Liberation has always been to use them in an intuitive way, such that as you play the game, it feels only natural to use them this way. The clearest examples that I can give are that the map screen and weapon wheel buttons are actually displayed on screen. So when you want to change your weapon, tap the part of the interface that shows you what weapons you've got. Other ways we're using them is to select targets on the screen, whether to select them for pickpocketing, whether to select them for a chain kill. It's just to tap on them on screen. For the back touch screen, we have things like the actual skill with which you pickpocket somebody. The smoother you can move your finger down the back of the touch screen, the deeper into someone's pockets you go. So the greater the reward you get. Also for the canoe, the smoother you can use the back touch screen, the more efficient the strokes of paddling the canoe. So we use them throughout the game, and always the goal is to be something that feels natural and intuitive. I can tell you that Liberation has a multiplayer feature, but I can't go into details on it at the moment, I'm afraid. The main path, the main narrative of Liberation will last an experienced Assassin's Creed player about 15 hours. On top of that, then you've got the side quests and the collectibles as well. So it's a full-on Assassin's Creed experience and game. What I can tell you is that for example, New Orleans and the Bayou in size are very comparable to Assassin's Creed city sizes from the home consoles.